democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well.
You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism is concerned.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion.
Can we, very interesting, gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I am about fortune.
Now, you see, let me
say
so that our soldiers will be free. We should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues. Welcome back on the program. Now to our part 2, we're looking at towards the national development issues and prospects. I still have my guest in the studio this morning. Bosun is a legal practitioner. Many thanks for staying tuned. Justice Weibo, a legal practitioner. Many thanks for staying tuned on the program. Well, towards national development, many issues are at the moment, starting from the approval of $1 billion. Let me get your reaction on this one, because this is still generating reactions from Nigerians, from political pundits, using this to fighting insecurity in Nigeria. What do you make of this, Bosun?
If we go by opinions, since Thursday that has happened, I think it's something that is goodly intended but hasn't followed proper process. Because to the best of my knowledge, let's take it from this angle. Is there need for this money? Absolutely. Is there a cost? Yes. We've talked about the level of insecurity and we've seen what this government is doing. At least in the area of security, the government is really trying, because almost every nook and cranny of the country, there's some uprising or the other, whether from locals, whether from those who are sophisticated at it. Now, and I know this government is really trying its best to make sure that they stem this, they nip it in the bud and make sure that the people are secure. I mean, like my brother said earlier on, constitutionally, the primary function of the government is to secure the lives and property of the people, which this government is really trying to do. But I think the way they've gone about this, it's not in the best way. I'll put it that way, because if you look at it, I said, is there a cost? Yes, there is a cost. And do we have the funds? Yes, we have the funds. Have they gone through the proper channel? That is what is generating controversy as it is. Because if you look at it, Section 81 of the 1999 Constitution says that the president will create like a budget, will create like every appropriation basically will have to go through the National Assembly. In fact, it specifically says that the two arms of the National Assembly, that the legislative houses, for approval. But in this case, if we go by what the media aides of the president said last week, that they're still writing and they're trying to communicate to the National Assembly after you've approved. I don't think that has gone too well, because the approval must come first, then you disburse. I don't think the National Assembly is going to oppose, maybe because of urgency or the need for, to beef up things security-wise. That's why the president has taken a unilateral decision. But you see, this is still a democracy, and unfortunately, it may slow down things. Decision making may be slowed down because this body will have to be carried along in decision making. But at the same time, we'll have to follow correct process, so that you may be sincere in your outlook, but at the same time, if you go about it wrongly, that means you're sincerely wrong, which is not the best way. And some people have argued that yes, there's no provision for excess crude oil, blah 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 blah. If you want to go into that argument, you find that basically the government is supposed to even come and talk about how much you want to sell the crude oil, everything to be in the budget, in the bill, going to the National Assembly and all that. So same for security as well. If you want to, anything you want to do on security, you have to pass it through the National Assembly. All the things are written in Section 81 of the Constitution. So you cannot take out the National Assembly. I think the government means well, the executive means well, but they need to really like retrace their steps and go through the appropriate channel. Nobody, I don't think, if the Senate stand up today and grandstand that they won't approve of that funds, they have the people to contend with. Because you've seen everywhere, practically every state is not spared in this issue of insecurity. So I think they should just go about it well, and everything, I mean, like the Bible says, let everything be done properly or decently and in order. That's basically what it is with this $1 billion.
Okay, now in a system where there are three arms of government, if you agree with me that they should work hand in hand, what do you foresee in all of this? If the presidency is saying we've made the approval, we're going to write to the National Assembly, are you foreseeing that the National Assembly may not yield to that approval coming from the executive arm of government?
Basically, it's preposterous, and it's a simple case of putting the cart before the horse. The horse should go before the cart. All right. So that's what it is, and maybe simply for the sake for egotistic reasons, the National Assembly may oppose it, and they are within their right to do that. They're within their right to do that. So, but I feel that they have aides. I mean, the executive have aides that do intergovernmental affairs aides. I know there's some former senator from, I think, the South who goes between the National Assembly.
Itainang.
Itainang, yeah, I forgot his name, thank you. Now, so I think that's his job. That's where they come in. These jobs are not ceremonial. You're to interface between these people, and not just interfacing when there is problem. Your job is to properly advise. In fact, a lot of wrongs that we do in this country is based on ill advice. Because as an advisor, your job is to tell me, sir, this is how you do this. This is the appropriate way. Then also you already go, you block the other end. Then that's how you do things. Because all those people just exist. Their names just exist. They have ceremonial titles and they don't live up to these things. Because something as simple as this, there is insecurity in the land. Is the approval is rife, but we should go about it the right way. That's my own position. And I think that's where people like Itainang and other advisors, or even the Attorney General, that's where he comes in. Advise your boss properly. Because at the end of the day, if there's any delay or some opposition from the House, you know, a lot of people don't really understand the internal workings of these things. Now, at the same time, because it's a democracy, we must have respect for separation of powers. All right? And at the same time, whilst there is separation of power, we cannot, an arm of the government cannot too grandstand and say, no, we're holding on to our position because of our ego and all that. No. But I think it's for the National Assembly to quickly communicate to the executive that this is not the right way. You can retrace your steps, and before you know it, things will be properly done.
Well, the last time I checked, the majority in the National Assembly is the APC. Talking about members in the National Assembly. Let me let you speak now, Justice Wepo. What do you make of this approval of $1 billion to fighting insecurity in Nigeria?
Well, you see, there is a lot of controversy, like my brother said, not because mainly money was said to have been released or to be released, so to say. But you see, in life, like I keep on telling people, even me as an individual, we have to be very, very careful. Our actions, our talk, and even our body language. Two things are involved here. One, is it possible for somebody that have told Nigerians that Boko Haram have been defeated technically to now come and start talking about money to buy weapons to fight the same insurgency again? Because we say the insurgency have been defeated technically. See the problem of Nigerians. You see, let me tell you, you are dealing with human beings, not stones. Because people listen every day, they follow you. You see, unfortunately, this government have not discovered that we are in the era of participatory democracy and participatory government. In 2015, the awareness was so overwhelming that everybody now becomes a political analyst. Yes, everybody now is politically minded person. So you must be very careful. It's not like some of us that are here. Tomorrow, if I become governor, or if I get any appointment, all the things I have said before now will be used against me. And I cannot have an excuse. Let's be realistic and let's be careful.
Just a moment. Let's get it clear that the $1 billion is not meant to fight Boko Haram alone.
It's for insurgency.
It's for the insecurity. That's like quoting the vice president at that time. For insecurity. Because a lot of people have this perception that is to fight Boko Haram in the country.
You see, I'm coming now. We are saying the same thing.
Okay.
Period to this time or before now, the major problem we had in this country was Boko Haram. True or false? And if you remember, that was one of the problems the previous administration had. And that was why when this government came in, they based all the arguments on Boko Haram. After everything, they have been defeated technically, blah blah, before the springing up of X-Men. Now look at what happened in Kwara. Is that we've not even known the name, because as far as some of us are concerned, looking at the antecedent and the surrounding circumstances, that thing may not be armed robbers. But moving forward from there, having said that, you now come to the issue of how do we get here? The money, okay, let's assume, yes, it is needed. Did you follow the due process? And this is an administration and a government that have said, and which all of us agree, that anything that do not follow due process is what? Corruption. Yes. Corruption, I keep on telling people, corruption is not just stealing money. Stealing money is part of the product of corruption. Now, there is no how. I listened to Femi Adesina this morning on channels when one retired captain in US, a Nigerian captain, is being interviewed with I think House Committee Chairman on Army. The whole thing was a mess. You are saying that the government, that people don't even know whether there is a letter ongoing to the National Assembly. In the first place, why must you make that mistake? Why must you play into the hands of even the opposition or even to the people that you are expecting to, to guide? First of all, even the Governors Forum, or whatever name you call it, that gave consent, they don't have such right. This is the people's money. And the people have their representative, which are in the National Assembly. And the due process must be followed, even on emergency situation. If you remember, during Jonathan, there was a time he declared a state of emergency. The National Assembly said no. Everything has a procedure. Everything has a law.
But so the presidency has come out, if I may just butt in, sorry for that, has come in to tell Nigerians that we are writing to the National Assembly.
You see, that is where we are. That is, you see, we are lawyers. For example, as a lawyer, what I know is the law. Anything short from that, I am not part of it. They said when equities are equal, what happens? The law prevails. And when equities meet, the force in time prevails. The issue here is this: the thing you are doing, did it conform with the due process, with the requirements of the law? Yes or no? And the answer is no. There's no issue of buts. The president cannot appropriate. He can only give assent. There's nothing by executive fiat. In fact, the retired US Army even went further to say something today on channels, that even in the United States and some other countries, where you want to make such a procurement, it must be listed.
But do you make issues of security made known to the public? Do we make an issue of security made known to the public?
In as much as you don't, there's place for equity, there's place for probity. All right, and you don't. Okay, we're coming from the hills. You remember this? The former army generals, a few of chief of staff, so naval, and one other one that is going through trials. The money is like this that they converted.
Okay.
The
Now,
Dasuki gate.
Not Dasuki.
Okay, the other.
Dasuki
Is it
one.
Amosu?
There's Amosu.
Okay.
There's another. There's Bade.
Alex Bade.
being tried. These were chief of, there were chiefs in
Security
there,
chiefs.
security chiefs, who practically, from evidence available, from what we've seen in courts, that they converted some of these funds. These were funds so that's where the argument comes in, that you can't just say everything is shrouded under security, and you don't come out. In fact, I was shocked when the day Mr. Femi Adesina came and said that this thing is to be for security. They showed Lieutenant General Buritai. He was saying something in another direction, like it's for training, it's for this, it's for that. Well, training can form part of security, but they're not in tandem with the argument on it. So I think as of now, they're yet to even understand what the money is for and how they want
Bosun,
to
you will
go.
continue with your line of thought and justice. I can see you also,
Quoting them.
you're also yelling to talk. But let's open the phone lines now to get the pulse of Nigerians on various issues that we're looking at this morning. We started with the PMB's visit to the UK, and we are now on the approval of $1 billion. We're soon going to talk more about amnesty to Boko Haram members who are repentant members indeed, and the alleged looters list. There's many more we'll be looking at on the program this morning. Do not attack any personality. Do not make any hate speech. Well, if you do, we have the right to do the needful on the program this morning. And well, you have to reduce the audio of your TV set so that we can have that smooth communication on the call digest this Monday morning. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Okay, back to your line of thought, Bosun, concerning this approval. So now we have to do a bit of English here. Now, if the president is saying we approve $1 billion to fighting insecurity in the country, and I say they were still writing to the National Assembly for this. So tell us more. I can see you opening the 1999 Constitution, but before that, Innocent is calling us from Lagos. Many thanks for joining us this morning. Good morning, Innocent.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Emmanuel Ajay. Good morning, the House.
Good morning.
Yeah, I've been listening to your discussion, conversation, and other things. But, Mr. Emmanuel, for goodness sake, I want to ask this question. How long will government take the people for a ride? How long the Nigerian government take the people for a ride? Now, let me put my point why I'm asking this question. Now, is this $1 billion that the government is requesting to be approved for them to use for so. We have had in the past when such money was released and it entered into different people's hands, and at the end of the day, the money was not used for what it was budgeted for. How are we sure that this same thing will not occur in the present circumstance? Bearing in mind that even in the House of the National Assembly, it is the majority there are members of the ruling party. We are tired of all these things that are happening. Somebody should tell this country the plain truth and let them stop killing everybody.
Okay, thank you very much, Innocent. You've made your point from Lagos. You're about citing the Constitution at this time concerning the legal implication of all of
Sometimes
this.
it's just very good to go through the law. It says the President, Section 81, authorization of expenditure from consolidated revenue funds. Say the President shall cause to be prepared and laid before each House of the National Assembly at any time in each financial year estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the Federation for the next following financial year. Basically, what this one is talking about is like budget. The 2018 budget has not been approved. So you can understand the constraint on the part of the executive that given the spate of insecurity in the land, let's come up with something. But even where you come up with something of this nature, it has to go through some level of approval from the National Assembly. It's there. You cannot circumvent the Constitution. The law is the law, and the law, we're guided by the law. If you do anything outside the law, you're creating a wrong precedent, and in the long run, you find that.
Just a moment, we have another caller now. Palmer is calling us from Ondo. Man, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning. We are fine here. Thank you very much.
You see, what is happening in Nigeria now, every day of my life is giving me a lot of questions. Where are we going, brother? In this century, we're supposed to be saying Nigeria is moving forward. We are moving back forward. Brother, let me give you one clarification. When Buhari come to this government, I remember during that time when he said that Jonathan, they didn't talk about Boko Haram, they are the one they are fighting about Boko Haram now. Buhari come to me that time. There is a lot of money they budget for this and this purpose. There is a lot of money. I remember during that time, he called the army, he called the security, they bought this ammunition, they bought the area cash, they bought a lot of things during that time, which is the billions in naira. The same military, they are using the same money to buy, they are buying another, the same equipment. I think we are failed.
Okay.
Totally.
Well, Palmer.
In this century, brother, I'm coming. In this century, you know, it's very painful for us in this century. When we're supposed to be moving forward, people are dying in this country, my brother. I know what is going everything. Before I came back, I have a lot of students where people are going, everybody's living fine. But I'm telling you what is happening in Nigeria today, brother. People are dying in this country. And then I think I'm challenging the youth of this country. Let us have our destiny in our hands. All of you come out and let.
You've made your point, Palmer. Thank you very much. But one thing I want us to know at this time, the approval of $2.1 billion US by the previous administration, and that is what we're still having issues with that coming from the former national security advisor to the country, Sambo Dasuke, is still facing corruption allegation on this one. But when we come back, my guest will talk more about this one. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll discuss more about issues on the polity in the country. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
London, New York or Lagos, business or holiday, home or office, you can now carry out your tax transactions from anywhere in the world. You can now file all your tax returns, pay online, get a receipt and even process your tax clearance certificate from anywhere in the world online and in real time. All you need to do is log on to www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-services and be introduced to the world of innovation, convenience and transparency from the FIRS. You can also pay stamp duty as you register a new company with the CAC or for other transactions that require stamp duty payment online. You can also file your withholding tax returns and determine the withholding tax deducted from you is in government covers so that you can get your receipt within 45 days as long as the deduction has been remitted. Yes, all of this and more online at www.firs.gov.ng/e-services. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC. Please note that all FIRS services are free of charge. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It pays to pay your tax.
Welcome back from that commercial break. We now continue with our talk segment this morning. Bosun, you still have the line of thoughts this morning.
Basically, what the Constitution says, now is this. You see, the moment you depart from the law, you're creating a wrong precedent, which wouldn't help the polity, and it wouldn't help your administration. Because, you see, because this is democracy and it's not military, by the time you do something, people will always refer and always refer. We were talking off air now about Section 83, Section 81. It says any form of spending at all from public.
You will continue with this line of thought. Let's quickly join Ugo from Kaduna now. Many thanks for joining us. Hello, Ugo, are you there? Okay, we lost connection with Ugo there. You can continue with your line of thought.
So any form of spending is subject to approval from the National Assembly. That's the thing. So it's best you follow that and don't create chaos. Don't create further panic, or don't make the National Assembly look funny in the eyes of the people, because all those ones will say is that we have the mandate of the people and we can't do anything outside the mandate we're given. By the time they say they're not approving of this now, then they will look funny in the eyes of those who have given them the mandate to do that. And the average Nigerian, my brother made allusion earlier and said that, see, people are hungry. Any economic policy you come up with that doesn't put food, daily food, on the table of people, nobody's going to reckon with it.
Just a moment, we have Solomon from Kogi. Many thanks for joining us this morning.
The government and the federal government should look beyond it. Because if... Good morning.
Good morning. Go on.
Yeah, as I was saying, I said the issue of killings and everything happening in this country these days, I think what we need, what we did not experience. And this government has voted nothing less than $1 billion, which is appropriate of about 360 billion. The question is, the money, will it be used appropriately? The past government also donated budget about $2.something billion, which today they are being questioned about the money, how did it went to? And the issue of our killings again, I can't imagine if that is another issue. The government and the federal government should look beyond that and find out what to do about it.
Okay.
And as for me, all I can say is that let the will of God be done in this country.
Thank you very much, King Solomon. Well, if I may use that word. Thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning. Okay.
Yeah.
Justice.
Even speaking further, you see, legality cannot arise out of illegality, no matter how you look at it. Especially when you say you want to be transparent in all ramifications. Especially this period, we say we are fighting corruption, so that the hunter will not become the hunted. If we even digress a little, going to section 83, like somebody raised an issue on channels today. What if it is needed for emergency or contingency that just arise? Look at the answer here. Section 83(1) says the National Assembly may by law make provision for the establishment of a contingency fund for the federation and for authorizing the president. Look at the law. The National Assembly will authorize, which means from the beginning, ab initio, the president has no right to even make that pronouncement that he's releasing. So
the word used there is approval. So I think that's the issue. Using the word approving,
he has no
billion
right. That's what I'm trying to say. He has
US
no
dollars.
right by law. Look at what the law says in 83. The National Assembly may by law make provision for the establishment of a which means the National Assembly must have made provision for it.
Justice, you continue with that. I beg your pardon. Let's quickly join Kafa from Taraba. Many thanks for joining us this morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Kafa. Thank you very much.
Yes. Good morning, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, I'm very happy to be joined in this thing. And I want you, as an advocate of people, I want so that you can also hear our voices. That's one of the invitations I'm giving it to you. Secondly, the issue of this 1 billion, you know that the secret case, this is the same thing APC is repeating. They're not going to use that money for security. They're going to use it for another thing else. And why am I saying this? I always emphasize the issue of security in Nigeria. The issue of security in Nigeria, you use the local people that they are around, they know their locality. Organize it very well. When you organize it, you will be able to tackle that problem. I give you an example with the issue of debt sheet. Do you know that those children that have been adopted in that debt sheet and the day they are being returned back, people, the indigenous people of that people, they were hailing them. That means there's a connivance with the people of that community. If that people of community are very patriotic, they will defend their people. And the army or the military, the security agencies, they are going to use the people in that community to know the loopholes. Where are these loopholes are coming from? So
okay, in 60 seconds. Well, I can't take you more than this. Thank you very much, Akafa from Taraba. Well, Nigerians are having this perception and saying they will use this money for politics or what. I don't know where they are getting this perception from. Are you also towing that line?
Yeah, you will not blame Nigerians. You know why? Because this is not the first time.
Because I want us to think. I want us to think out of the box.
When
because we have any security situation in the country
happening or reoccurring, It chose the same line. This is not the first. It's happening at the previous administration. This is not the first time. And the only word they can use is security. But I want to go further by telling you that look at the position of the law. Now, if you go to subsection 2, when I talked about estimate and bringing it down of what you want to do, subsection 2 said, where any advance is made in accordance with the provision of this section, a supplementary estimate shall be presented, and a supplementary appropriation bill shall be introduced as soon as possible. It goes to what I said before. You don't just say $1 billion for security, for fighting security or for fighting insurgency. No. It's an omnibus provision. If I take out of the money as a chief of army staff, it is part of the security now, because I'm chief of army staff. I have to secure myself also. It's not part of security. You see the previous administration, people that are facing trial, at least there may be one or two things linking that they collected, they took money. They will also defend it under the auspices
Just a
of
moment,
security.
Justice, you continue with that line of thought. Abraham is calling us from Nasarawa. Man, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning. I've been watching on Call TV. I just want to make a few contributions. I just want to say a few things about what's going on in this country. You see, this is democracy, and then democracy must be built through open society that shares information. So we don't have the information where all this money they talk about is going to. And then even when they are used, we don't have the information what they have been used for. So we can't trust anything coming or going out like this.
Thank you very much, Abraham,
I hope you get it.
from Nasarawa. But just a moment, Justice, is $1 billion enough to buy all those fighter jets? Talking about AK-47 arms and ammunition.
That is another.
Is it enough?
That is another.
If we want to be sincere with
I'm
ourselves.
coming now. That is another lacuna. That is, can you now see the reason why the things they want to procure must be explicated? Must be stated.
But we've raised it earlier here.
What I mean,
do we not list all, just a moment, Justice? This is a security matter.
Yes.
Now, do we list all what we want to buy?
Let me tell you
because when you do that, don't you think you are opening the security architecture of the country, even to terrorists in the country?
It's not true.
So you're expecting the federal government to release the list of what they want to buy or want to use the money for?
I wish you listened to the retired army captain in US. At least he gave an experience of what even the US government used to do. You understand the thing? That the only way, I think he said something about that, the only way the president of the United States can spend money without recourse to the house is only when there is an attack to the country. And he must within 7 days, I think 7 days, report to the Congress. Which the Congress has the right to say, okay, continue or stop. So that is what we're talking about, my brother. We're talking about due process and democracy here. What we're saying is this, like you asked the question, because of what has happened, people are afraid. I remember that
you continue with that.
Where people do not trust even the government.
Arinze is calling us from Enugu. Many thanks for joining us this morning.
Hello.
Hello, Arinze. Can you please reduce the audio of your TV set so that we can have that smooth communication on the program this morning?
Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Okay, please, what I want to say is that of the truth in Nigeria, I don't believe there is anything like insurgency. Though there is insurgency, but the most important thing is poverty insurgency. All this money they are telling us they are using to procure military apparatus and all those kind of things. Why don't they invest that money into poor people? See, I heard one of the man there talking about, how do this thing affect us? We poor people, we poor masses at the street. These people are just giving us, this money of a truth. They want to use this money, you understand, for campaigning next year. That's not the truth of the matter. You understand? Why are they not talking about all this money past the election is fast approaching and they are telling us that they want to procure, they want to do this and that. The truth is that these people are deceiving us.
Thank you very much, Arinze from Enugu. You've made your point there. Now, if what happened in 2014 didn't happen, I'm quite sure Nigerians will not be thinking like this. Talking about the $2.1 billion meant for arms and ammunition in the country that was allegedly diverted. Are we seeing this as another deja vu, and that's why Nigerians are talking like this? All of that's with the process of the 2.1 billion naira. Did it follow the due process before we are saying, oh, what is happening at this time?
I said
Bosun?
earlier when we came in that the whole Oyegu Faka from the party, we saw the same thing when Bamanga Tuko came. People are referring to the Dasuki money. There was a 1 billion that was approved by the Jonathan administration about the same time, about maybe 10 or 15 months into to fight the same insurgency, and we saw how the money landed in the wrong hands. So apart from deja vu, all right, then the third angle is that the way the executive has gone about it, you know, follow approval, you're not following due process, you just want to get this thing done at all costs. Now, with all due respect to Mr. Femi Adesina, he made a statement which is profound. He said, no amount of money is too much to secure a life, which is good, which is, the intention is good. Everybody has seen this, that this is good. But like my brother said, there's a Latin maxim that says that ex topic causa non oritio acto, that you cannot derive legality from illegality. It will not work.
Just a moment, we have Nonso from Kogi. Many thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. This is Nonso calling from Kogi State.
Good morning. Go on with the comment, please.
$1 billion budgeted for security and so on and so forth. We have seen the past government budget this kind of money, and at the end of the day, there was nothing to achieve about it. Insurgents, yes, Boko Haram, yes, acting everywhere. That is just the truth about it, and that is also what's going on about the nation now. And the federal government and state legislature talking about infrastructure development as well, in despite all this issue of insurgents and everything. No. To my concern, we have a democratic company here which has been run in existence for so many years. We are budgeting $1 billion, which is about $360 billion on just security, which of the day, which no result. People will still lose the money. Why can't the government still start thinking? Most of the countries that give us for so many years. So finally, we finally
Thank you very much, Anon. So you've made your point here. Well, you continue with your line of thought, but I actually want to chip in this. The 2.1 billion US dollar that we saw, that's Dansuke is involved now. This is not, this one did not follow the due process. That was the 1 billion US dollar that indeed followed the due process from the previous administration. So let's get it clear now, so that Nigerians will not mix all this up.
I made reference to that. I was coming.
Okay.
There was a line of thought.
Okay.
Oyegu Bamanga 1 billion to fight insurgency, 1 billion about the same time. All right. Now, so whether it followed due process or not, that's no. I'm just saying that it's the same thing, and we saw where the monies went. Now, so if Nigerians come out and say they don't trust this arrangement, they have a basis not to trust it, because we've seen it before, and you know, a lot of people have come up to say that the same people who were in the other party, majority of them are in this party. So that's the reason why there's no problem exercising fear that I just don't trust this thing. That's where his argument now comes in, that okay, tell us what you want to do. If you don't tell the average Nigerian, the Senate has to know what you want to do, or else anybody will come up with anything. In fact, you can go and create chaos and come and tell them that, see, you can see the wahala that is going on here now, so we need money.
But you will agree with me, Bosun, that if the previous administration has done the needful with this money, we will not go back to this line of thought or buying arms and ammunition.
But even the same government that has appropriated funds for military equipment and all that, a good one for me, Dapchi girls. People were adopted with cars. Where is Air Force? Where are the choppers? Where are the helicopters? Where are the fighter jets? You want to tell me a plane definitely is faster than car now? Now, so are you saying they can't deploy to find them? The same offer stuff. The thing went on eyewitness account said 3 hours this thing went on. So they can't deploy air raids to find these things. So where are the monies? The ones you bought, we have not seen. You want to buy again. We all have
just let's quickly join
Polikos
from Rivers. Many thanks for joining us this morning.
Good day.
Good morning.
Please, the issue on ground is a vital one. Money. The issue here on ground is really a vital one. And I want to know what actually is going on in this country. That the House of Assembly or the Federal House cannot own up to their responsibility. Okay. Initially, in the past years, Nigeria went on Sierra Leone for peacekeeping, Liberia, Sudan, Nigerian army, and they were able to go everywhere and make peace in those countries. So what is happening in their own country? What is happening in their own country?
Thank you very much, Polikos from Rivers. You've made your point there. Thank you. That's another point. That is really at the moment. But many issues indeed bedeviling the country, if I may use that word now. Amnesty for repentant Boko Haram. It's a no to you?
No.
Justice, what about you?
I wonder what you think my reaction will be. Knowing me very well. So I should say yes. No, I'm asking you now.
You should tell us more. If I say no to it, tell us more.
I don't think there's any right thinking Nigerian that will talk. You see, only that, you see, my anger is that there's no sincerity of purpose. Ab initio. That is just the thing. And that is why, let me tell you, Lord Dennis says something in the case of Packer versus Packer. He said, until we start doing what we have not done before, we will remain standstill while the rest of the world moves on.
Well,
and that is what is haunting us. So, impunity has been the order of the day. Okay, for the fact that the previous government did it, and people will only talk, and the whole thing will go. We will also do it, and people, no problem. But there is a supreme judgment somewhere.
Is that the way out of all this? Tell us more about the prospect. What should be?
Me. What I have seen so far is a situation whereby you talk to people, rather, if you insist on things being done the right way, you are the bad person. You are the opposition. But they forget that all over the world, there's no successful government without a viable opposition. I was telling my brother something. When Jerry Rawlings was in power, 1 year getting to 2 years, nobody was talking. Ghanaians, we are good with him. He said no. He went on national television, criticized me, let me know what I'm doing.
Are you saying there's no opposition for this?
No. What I'm trying to say here is this: when some of us come out like this to talk, people in that time you're PDP, you are ABGA, is it about party? It's not about party. It's about being patriotic to the country. It's about even being patriotic to yourself. Because we all are Nigerians. We all have our children here. Even if we live abroad, this is the only country we know.
In 1 minute.
So the truth here is this. Whether we like it or not, our past will haunt us, all of us, one day. Let us do the right thing. And the truth is that we all know the right thing to do. But the problem is that nobody wants to do it.
That's your parting shot on the program this morning. Many thanks for joining us. Bosun, your final words of advice, your parting shots on the program.
On the Boko Haram thing, let me just end there. No life is bigger than the other life. Somebody cannot go on a killing spree, come back and say he has repented, and you tell him to go. You have destroyed some people's future. You have killed breadwinners of home. You now think you walk free. So what will happen to them? What will happen to their words? What will happen to the pains, the sorrow that you have created in some people's life? It won't go down like that. So if you have killed people, an eye for an eye may make the entire world go blind, but you will find justice.
Legal practitioner Bosun Shifora, many thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Pleasure.
Justice Webo, many thanks for joining us on the program this morning. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And that's how we call it today on Core Digest. This Monday morning, well, we've talked more about the president to be in UK today, talking about the Commonwealth leaders meeting, head of government meeting that will be holding April 18th, and also looking at issues in our national development, the approval of $1 billion to fighting insecurity in the country, and amnesty to repentant Boko Haram insurgents. Understand? Well, on all of this, one thing that remains sacrosanct that we should take is that the unity of Nigeria is what we should all preach to us and ensure we do our best to ensure this country move forward. Till I come your way again, I remain Emmanuel Ajayi. Bye for now.